Hello, welcome to the Trade Game channel. This is Daniel. It's February 1st, and we are here to talk about trading cryptocurrency. Specifically, we're here to talk about trading Apecoin. Now, if you're new to the channel, uh, some of the stuff that I have already overlaid on my charts here is for my grid trading setups. I trade cryptocurrencies on a grid. It's one of the things that I do in terms of my interactions with the cryptocurrency sort of sphere. Um, so the green areas that I have set up here with these charts are the grid the bot is trading in. The red area represents the area in which the bot will stop trading but be at risk of liquidation, with the liquidation value being the bottom of the red area. And in this case, I've set a yellow line to represent the stop loss that I have set for the bot. So that's what that is, in case you were wondering. So I've got this bot going on Apecoin. It's been doing rather well, but it's starting to get kind of interesting and dicey here. As much profit as the bot has been able to generate through doing its grid trading, it also has long positions all the way up to $1.45, and it's right at the bottom of its grid, so it's in danger of being liquidated here, in spite of having a fair bit of margin securing it, just because it's got all of these longs that are in loss now. So this is going to be really interesting to see what happens to this bot, this Apecoin bot. I do hold out some hope that this guy might yet survive. Uh, as you can see from a stop loss, liquidation value is at an area of that has a fair bit of price history, and so hopefully has some. We'll find some support before we get down to that range. This blue line, this area down here, is the lowest value in recent records that Apecoin has been at. Back in August, when Bitcoin was at the deepest part of its correction last year. Uh, Gosh, excuse me. Bitcoin had a big pump in October, and then was correcting downwards, and then we had a nice pro cryptocurrency news event that caused it to come up and do a new high up here. Now, that being said, I think that it has traded at higher prices than we're currently at during the last bull market. So these are still relative lows compared to where it has on the weekly chart traded in previous years, but uh, compared to where it's been in recent months. Yeah, here you go. Even last March, still in the same bull market, this coin was trading at a higher price. So there's a fair bit of headroom. This could go. The price of this coin could go up quite a bit. In terms of shorter term price action, I still think that while it'll take a little while for Apecoin to really start taking off, because we'll have to wait for AI and gaming and things like this to come to fruition to really start doing numbers in the AI in the cryptocurrency space. At least for right now, following the pump in November, we've had a correction down, and we've corrected down. I mean, really almost to the point where we were at in October, or well, maybe not in October, but in September, should say, last year. So we're getting pretty close to really our all time low here. And so I'm hoping that we will find some support here, and then maybe not necessarily go up and challenge this high we set recently, but perhaps create a right shoulder. So we have the left shoulder head and right shoulder. Although, of course, usually when we look for that pattern, it's when something has been pumping, when there's been a bullish movement and we're trying to find a top, and that's not the case here. we're actually close to a bottom. But in any event, we are approaching, however, a level of support for this bot, and that's why the grid is set down to there. This is where I started my bot off here, going long. And so what I would speculatively say for Apecoin, you never do really know what the market's going to do. We have set a lower low here, and we do seem to be in a descending channel, kind of a descending wedge here, following this big movement upwards, setting lower lows and also lower highs as we go down. Now, we were having a run of higher lows and higher highs here on the smaller time frame, and so I was speculatively saying that we may come up and challenge the top of this wedge, which we kind of, sort of did, or at least we came up towards the top of the wedge. We certainly didn't really seriously come and test it, but it's all right. Down a little bit, set another lower, higher low here, continued to go up, set a high here, and then broke down below this trend line. So that's fully valid, and so here. So we had our breakdown, and now we're kind of getting into this area, and hopefully we're going to find some support sort of around here. Now it does look like on the 1 hour we have a low here, we have a low here, and it would appear that we may have set a higher low than the previous right here on the hourly chart, but we don't know yet. So this is going to be kind of exciting because this may be low, but this candle might also turn red and go down. And also, I mean, this might have a couple of green candles and then just push further down. So we're not really gonna know, at least for a little while, what this is actually gonna do. So if you're looking to short on a scalp trade, you're a little bit late to the party. So what I would probably be doing if I were trading this on the shorter time frame, or looking for a swing trade, would be looking to go long. That is what I'm hoping it'll do, because I would prefer it if my bot didn't get liquidated. My bot is going long on this coin. I think it's still in a slight bit of profit in spite of being right at the bottom of its grid with all of its long orders deployed. So what I would say is that if we can hold our support right at the bottom of where I had my grid set at around 86 cents, then that would be a very bullish sign for Apecoin, and it does seem to be approaching what I would call a level of support here. And so if you were looking to start a swing long, this would not be a terrible place to do it if you're looking to buy in, or if you just want to buy in spot and you just would like to buy some Apecoin at a relatively cheap price. It is approaching its historical kind of lows right now, its area of support. So if you just got a bag of Apecoin, or you're looking to create a bag of Apecoin in spot, now would not be a terrible time to go ahead and buy a little bit of it. In terms of trying to provide a little bit of a setup here for you guys, should you want to try and enter like a swing long or something on this kind, I could make a recommendation. So we're going to need to, we may come down and challenge the bottom of this wedge. Hopefully, if we're going to reverse, we're going to set a higher low than this one here, but we'll have to kind of see what happens. And so if it does get down to this wedge and then breaks down, then you would not want to enter along necessarily just yet. because it may continue down. Um, so what I would say is that we were going to want it to get at least above this high right here if we wanted to enter into a long. And then this descending wedge is really fairly sharp. I don't know how much of a trade opportunity we're going to necessarily get here. So we could kind of find out. So let's just see how this would play out. If we were to say set a trigger price for around here, and set our target just for right now, right there, and set our stop. Where would we want to stop out of this? Well, if I can get this to actually let me select this. Well, I mean, really, if it gets down below here, we probably wouldn't want to be in the trade at all. That's pretty far down, though, man. Um, hmm. So if it does come back up here and we're going to enter into the trade, it would probably be okay setting it right out there. Well, no, okay, actually, no, we can keep it right here. So we can set our stop and say if it gets below this lower low right here, then we don't want to be in the trade anymore. Because if it is, if the price does get up here above its higher high and then come back down here, it will have, by virtue of going below this level, it will have to have set a lower low than the current one, and that's a bearish sign, and we really wouldn't want to be involved in it anymore after that, I wouldn't think. And so that's where I would probably set my stop. And what's our risk to reward? Oh, well, just right where it is 1.5, which is kind of the roughly standard that I like to use just as my sort of default. And so, so I would say that at least in terms of just setting up, just on paper along, I would set it up a little bit like this. Risk-reward ratio around 1.5. This way, if the price comes up here, and if it at least breaks this higher high, then you could set a take profit. And it may come up and challenge the top of this descending wedge, which is a pretty steep descending wedge as I recall. But that's assuming that you want to enter this sort of thing. You could also do a similar trade and set your take profits kind of like right here, based off of this slightly lower high. And you wouldn't really quite have the 1.5 risk to reward ratio you usually sort of shoot for, but you could. Although when I say your take profit level would be here, I don't mean that you should close the trade out when it gets to this level or set the actual take profit to be this level necessarily, unless you want to. What I mean to say is, if your trade is up here and it's in profit, what you can do is set a trigger price. Or, well, you can wait, and if the price gets up above your take profit level, 1.035 or 6, somewhere around there, you can set your stop loss to this take profit level. And so if the price does not keep going up, but then goes back down, then you would take profit there. So you don't necessarily have to close your trade out just because we've set a take profit at that level. But that is sort of what we're going to shoot for. And I think I would actually leave it there. Let's keep it a little bit more conservative for this one. By that same token, do we want to continue to risk letting the stop loss go all the way down there? I'm not 100% sure. What we could do, instead of setting it quite this far down, the lowest low, how far do we want to trade? Let's say, maybe let's set it right here, using this low to go off of. So we're saying if it gets back up here and sets a higher high, then we want to be in the trade to go long. But if it comes up here and then ranges down and actually gets down below where it's currently at, below this low, then we're going to speculate that it's probably going to continue down, and we kind of don't want to be in the trade anymore. That being said, you could set your stop loss either way, although that does give us a risk reward ratio of 2. Gosh. No. I have a funny way. The thing with setting these stop losses a little too conservatively is sometimes they'll just barely touch. No, I think I was going to leave it the way it was. Um, it's not really ideal. You do typically want your risk to reward ratios to be a little higher than 1.23, but uh, generally speaking, it's better to take profit when you can on trades, and so I would probably leave it like that, at least for the time being. So I'm going to just lock that in where it is for our speculative, just for fun, long position that you can join me in or not, and I'll come back and check and see if this is successful at a later date. Our entry price is here. Our profit level, take profit level is there, and the stop loss level is there. So you can use those numbers if you want to consider entering a long on Apecoin. So that's just a little bit of information on where I think Apecoin is going on the market, or where it might go. We do seem to be trading in descending wedge, and we're approaching a level of support. Might break out to the upside, but I would wait to see it actually showing signs of having a change of character and actually breaking to the upside before entering along. It's not a good idea to just jump into those just because you think it may have set below, because it can always go lower. It can always dip. The dip can always have another dip. um, so, anyhow, this is the Trade Game channel. I'm Daniel. It's February 1st, and we've been talking about trading Apecoin. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like and subscribe. That really does help us out quite a lot. If you do that on the videos, and leave a comment so that we can chat about these things. God be with you. Please be good to one another, and I will talk to you later.